James Franklin fired after Penn State's third consecutive loss, one season removed from having Penn State one game away from the national championship. Penn State won two college football playoff games last year, and now they're searching for a new head coach. Penn State has to pay James Franklin a buyout that is reportedly $56.6 million. That's a number that I've read that's different from elsewhere. Front Office Sports has it at 56.6. Pete Thamel says over 49 million owed to James Franklin is the second biggest buyout in the history of college football. And presumably Penn State said, who cares? This ain't the guy. It's time to move on. It's been a heartbreaking couple of weeks for Penn State. Again, 2 weeks ago, they led Oregon in overtime. It looked like they were going to win. 2 weeks later, they lose to UCLA, who doesn't have a head coach. They lose at home to Northwestern. And that was the final straw. It's been depressing. It's been bad. Drew Aller's now hurt and out for the season. You certainly feel for him and all the other guys that came back here. But are you surprised with this decision? Do you think it was the right decision to fire James Franklin right now?
So I feel like they had to a little bit, but also at the same time, I saw someone tweet this out this morning. I'm not sure if this came across your timeline. Did you see Penn State's schedule next year?
I did.
Dog, they could be back in the playoffs next year.
Yep.
So like you're putting yourself in a spot where you got to pay that 50 M's. You got to go get a coach, which by the way, like you can't go out there and get no coordinator, in my opinion. You got to go get a big dog if you're Penn State. And I don't know. I mean, we'll probably talk about this more because this is more so a Franklin-centric video instead of like actual replacements, which maybe we'll touch on.
You can touch on replacements. I don't know how much we're going to cover the hiring cycle here.
Okay, well, let's just say this. If I'm a Penn State fan, I'll put myself in those shoes. You're telling me we fired James Franklin for Matt Rule? With all due respect, man. Like that's the sell. I get Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola.
It's not
That's
great.
it. That's what I'm getting.
It's not great.
I paid 50 M's for that. If
It's
I'm
not
paying
great.
50 M's, I want Kurt Cinetti. And I also want the next Kurt Cinetti. I'm gonna look up a list or a slideshow who the next Kurt Cinetti is. I want that person to be a coordinator. I want the family Cinetti on my goddamn staff. Like I just look, I get it. You are 20-point favorites in back-to-back weeks, and you lose to UCLA, and then you lose to Northwestern at the crib. That's pretty crazy. And I know also part of this was like the fact that basically James Franklin hinged this year on Drew Aller, and Drew Aller stunk it up. So, I mean, I see why you got to do it, but also at the same time, doing something like this without having like a bona fide replacement while also paying that money is crazy. And from this day forward, I think I might want to raise my son to become a big time head coach and then get fired.
It's a great job. Yeah.
Bro, what? Like Franklin is good.
So that the hard part is it's hard to feel too bad for James Franklin when he's getting $50 million to not coach football. That's one of the greatest things that could ever happen to a human being. Now, I also think every football coach in America would tell you, except for maybe one, Mel Tucker's probably content with how his his buyout's being paid right now. But I think most coaches are competitive enough to be like, I care and I care about these kids, about myself, success. I love doing this. James Franklin certainly strikes me as that guy. I think a lot of Penn State players love James Franklin. I think from the outside looking in, I have a lot of admiration for how he coaches and what he is to players. I don't think you even get in a spot where this team returns Aller and Singleton and Katron Allen all at the same time unless James Franklin was their guy and a special human being to them. And that's my interpretation. I feel like these players are heartbroken because these players now have to own they got this guy fired. Dion, you okay? You look a little sweaty.
So every August, September, my air conditioning breaks, and there's just nothing I can do about it.
Dude, that's tough. Out in California too. Like, I mean, what is it, like 80 degrees still there today?
Today's gonna be like 85, 90, but like peak summer, it gets like 110. My AC just doesn't ever hold up.
I mean, It sounds like it's a bummer that you can't take advantage of Duncan Mechanical Solutions because Duncan Mechanical Solutions is an HVAC company based in Angola, servicing the tri-state area, bringing commercial quality to the residential world with excellent customer service. You heard us talk about Duncan Mechanical last summer. If you need heating or air conditioning, kitchen or bath remodeling, or all of the above, Duncan Mechanical is the place to go in the Midwest. Go to duncanmechanicalsolutions.com to take advantage and make sure you don't wind up like Dion. And
Mm.
you can look back at this and probably pick out moments where James Franklin made mistakes. You could pick out exact moments throughout his career where we could say he didn't coach well enough. But the bottom line is you could have had your dog, who's what, a French bulldog, 4 years old, 5 years old,
Hmm.
this big, yay big, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
He could have been the coach of Penn State and they should have beaten Northwestern by 3 scores.
right.
Like at a certain point, these players need to look themselves in the mirror, and I'm sure they are right now. They didn't want James Franklin to get fired, but like to me, it's not on Franklin to get these guys to take care of a team like that at home. And if you want to call that the final straw, it's unacceptable. Fine. Um, I will say this: I give Penn State credit for moving quickly. I think moving quickly when you know you're going to make a coaching change is the best thing you can do for all parties involved. Gives you a head start on finding the next guy, and I'm sure Penn State will find somebody they feel really good about. I do think looking back on this, they're going to feel they made a mistake because I don't think they're getting Signetti. I don't think they're getting one of maybe 10 coaches on earth that I would consider an upgrade to James Franklin. Let's be clear. Franklin, the criticisms that he can't win the big one, totally, 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 totally fair. He also won 11 games or more 5 times at Penn State. Now, he never had a season with less than 2 losses, but I want you to step back and think about how differently do we view James Franklin if the 4 previous times, excuse me, let's call it 5. They had 5 seasons before last year with 10 or more wins. If the 12-team playoff existed, he's going to the playoff annually.
Mhm.
The problem was he finished third in the Big Ten in years where there wasn't a 12-team playoff. And he already proved last year, if you get to the 12-team playoff, he can win you some games there. So I just think like timing is everything. And if like the teams he's put on the floor every single year are top 12 worthy, they would have been in the playoff almost every single year. And instead, he has the reputation of the guy that can't get them there. He would have been getting them there every year, except for this year. Obviously, it felt completely awry. But like, you're firing a guy that I think was going to have a 50% hit rate of getting you to the 12-team playoff. And I get your Penn State, but if good luck finding someone that good, like I don't think they're going to. The rumor is they're going to hire Matt Rule. I mean, come on. Matt Rule's a better college football coach than James Franklin?
Yeah,
No
crazy,
way. No chance. So,
crazy. And with that said, too, for what it's worth, my school might be looking for a football coach soon. I would be ecstatic to get James Franklin as my football coach.
yeah,
So, is what it is. Enjoy that 50 M's though. Um, with that said, too, your point, losing to UCLA like they lost and losing at the crib to Northwestern back to back is insane.
it is. And he's got to own that. I'm not saying he's not involved, but I don't know. It just goes to show you how crazy coaching is because this team was the preseason national title favorite. And to think that James Franklin's out of a job before November is just insane. And I'm not saying it wasn't the right decision. I think, again, it's probably a good thing they moved quickly. I think the respectable way to do this would have been to let him finish the season and let him step down at the end of the year rather than just, we're done with you. I
Mhm.
think that because this team's going to lose out now. All these players are going to be heartbroken and quit on the season. I can't see this turning around in any way that's respectable, right? Can you?
Right, their quarterback's done for the year.
Right. So I don't know. But again, this is a tough business. Maybe I need to put my big boy pants on and realize it's not about the respectable decision. There's money to be made, championships to be won here, right?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the winner of this is Bo Prabilla or whatever his name is.
He looks the best coming out of this.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.